I'm Gary Ulias, one of the principals of BAYCON Construction Management, based out of the Toronto market, and recently opened an office in Calgary.
That's exciting.
And we specialize in hotel construction, new and renovations.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit about your history in the industry and then the history of the company, if you would.
Okay, my history in the industry is probably 45 years in the industry, and for the last 15, my company, which I operated for 25 years, was GUPM Construction Managers. We specialized in hotels, having built hotels in Western Canada and a lot in Ontario primarily. We became recognized for, I became recognized for commitment in the hotel industry and bringing new builds primarily on time, on budget, which in today's world is almost unheard of. So I'm proud of that. The short story to that was a family business. Even my daughter and son worked for my company.
Very good.
And my wife, who's the real boss. But my business plan was to retire when I hit 65. And this is slightly pre-COVID, so I had my business plan and personal plan. We closed the business. I built the house on a lake, and I'm into boating and fishing. And the COVID hit, of course, and then I got to a point where I wasn't using all of my gray matter being my wife's personal Uber driver during retirement. So my business associate, Manoff, who owns some flooring companies in Eastern and Western Canada, him and I partnered to create BAYCON. So It was me trying retirement, coming back into the fold. We specialize in reno and new build of hotels primarily, apartments, and long-term care.
Very good.
And that's what leads me here today to selfishly promote BAYCON in Western Canada. The industry has changed dramatically, I would say particularly in the last 4 to 5 years. And then there's the post-COVID, and there's a new generation in my industry in construction. That's not necessarily a good thing. The words, customer service today in my industry, whether it's a reno or new build, it's almost non-existent. There's a lot of us against them type attitude. When our philosophy, and I'm being self-serving here at BAYCON, it's all about customer service and commitments and transparency. So in today's business in construction, there's a lot more handcuffing with the municipal rules, et cetera, building code changes. But the attitude of a lot of tradespeople, laborers, carpenters, is maybe they're not as hungry as us old timers remember. And the trade thing, being a tradesman, it's hard to find in today's market. So I have, before retirement, brought trades from the Ontario market, let's say, to bring them into Western Canada because I couldn't get them out here, what I called an available tradesperson. So the market has changed. I think the timelines in construction have extended, and cost to reproduce what I could have built 4 years ago for X, let's use a hotel as an example, is up 32 to 35%. And I'm one of the old guys who are going, hey, geez, this is ridiculous. Like, what's the justification for this? Concrete hasn't gone up that much.
I was going to ask you, is it cost of materials? Is it just inflationary environment in general?
I think it's an abuse of using the term logistics due to COVID. I think a lot of people have made a lot of money and are making a lot of money off that excuse.
And COVID racketeering, if you will?
There you go. That's a good
profiteering. COVID profiteering.
No, it's close to racketeering, too. I like it. And so my job is to hopefully end my career, let's call it a little legacy in this industry of doing things right, building buildings on time, on budget, safely, with pride, where handshakes mean something, and at the end, instead of being in an adversarial role with the client, you're friends. My clients become friends.
Of course.
So I want to get back to the basics of personalized, let's call it boutique construction services.
Interesting.
And I believe we're really good at it. And it's a changing world. It's morphing, and you either got to a degree, roll with the flow or change, but also I think you got to lead the parade. So we're embracing smart technology in hotels. But bottom line, Stacy, we partner with people of like mind. So whether it's the interior designers, architects that I respect, being selective with the clients we work for.
Sure.
We're not in the business of down and dirty and cheap. I've never met a client yet that doesn't care about the dollars.
Of course.
But when we put a budget in front of a prospect who becomes a client, it's real. It's not a hook. It's not artificial.
Yep.
And
not a bait and switch.
no, and I don't like the word never have in our industry of change orders. So yeah, I can do it really low, but it's the architect's fault. It's the engineer's fault. Change order. Well, I'm in the business. I don't want change orders. I don't make any money on change orders.
Good.
And it shouldn't be all about money anyways. On one hand, I want to welcome change. I want to welcome sustainability of product.
Yep.
I want to welcome the mosaic of people in our industry because it has changed dramatically.
Yeah, of course.
But I'm not supportive of the tail wagging the dog type scenario. There's some old fundamentals in construction that we shouldn't do away with,
Good.
which is respect for the employee, the owner in all the trades, proper communication, provide them a safe environment, and be in tune with social media issues or requirements. And even an old dog like me has to learn some new tricks on being a part of it. The material component, our job is with clients, with prospects, and with architects, and some architects use us as a resource on what should we be using in this build. Again, let's use a hotel. Should it be insulated concrete form? Should it be block story, precast floor slab, CFS, which is cold form steel, a pre-paneled exterior of EIFS? Which should it be? What's more economical? So we asked the prospect. I asked them. Well, some people in the hotel business flip assets.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
We're not really in that market. We don't want to build it down and dirty and cheap and not with no consideration for longevity of product.
And speed being the only driver, right?
Speed and cheap. We don't want to be that. We want to build it once, build it right.
Yeah.
And we asked the prospect, are you going to flip this project before we sign a contract? And I like the ones that say, no, this will be an asset owned and managed by my family. I hope my grandkids run these properties.
Oh, that's a good
now that's what we want.
Yeah.
So now our job is to bring our expertise to the table and talk about sustainability in regards to the materials, the design, what's environmentally acceptable, but what's going to, heating and cooling efficiency. And I'm not a mechanical engineer, but I'm not an idiot, and I can tell what's logical, what works and doesn't work.
Yeah.
And by building over 22 hotels, I know what I'm talking about. But we still have to change and adapt and take advice from the people that are smarter than I am. Some of these engineers and architects are pretty sharp. But I'm the guy, Stacy, that would say to them, look, the client still cares about budget.
Yeah.
Okay, on buildability, if there is such a thing. So I think it's bringing old school methods that work, taking away the nonsense, treating people with respect and training and safety, and introducing materials that maybe I'm not even familiar with. But will they be applicable in this application?
Well said, and thank you for bringing it back around to that. And the other idea that you put forth that I think is really important is when we talk about the next generation coming into hospitality, we tend to focus on hospitality managers and operations, but we should be talking to tradespeople
100%.
and encouraging young people to get into the trades. It's a wonderful career path.
Yes.
Terrific income levels, but also it's we need them.
Well, we do to sustain what we're doing and to have a labor force or a qualified labor force.
Yes.
30 years ago in this industry, when I was building factories or hotels or apartments, I never saw women in the structure. We're cutting and banging and screwing. I never saw any. In the last 10 years, I said, well, that's interesting. Women electrician, that's it. Well, that is interesting and it's welcome and it should be.
Good.
I think part of the problem let's use my kids' generation, the 45 to 25, spending a little too much time playing with joysticks and computers. They might be of benefit working, as a technician in an architect's office, but the ones that say, I want to be in the field, I want to actually physically build. Doesn't matter what culture or nationality, male, female, or XYZ, whatever the proper terms are today, we need to embrace.
Yeah.
What we want is dependability, safety, quality, and offer a future to people.
And I think that's the key is why aren't we creating more pathways into the trades for young people? And that's something for us to talk about on my side of things.
Your magazine, which I really like, I think it's top shelf.
Thank you.
And we're proud to be a sponsor in there. And I'm not saying that because we're doing it, it's a fact.
Thank you, Gary.
We should be talking more in magazines such as yours about introducing young people to our industry. BAYCON's not trying to be bigger. Bigger's not always better. We're in the service business, so we want to build each project, do it right. So we have two divisions. One is new build, and one is the renovation market. Most every hotel will be pipped out at some point. Property improvement plan, have to do a major reno, whether it's 5 years or 7 years. That went on ice a bit during COVID, but now we're sort of back in the real world. So whether it's a reno or whether it's a new build, we treat the project with the same merit, the same value. We don't want to have 20 projects on the go because we can only effectively juggle so many oranges. I would rather we have 2, 3, 4 that our team can do effectively. So the Hotel V, interesting you bring that up because that's a signature hotel project. And when I was retired, doing my fishing and boating thing, I got a call from the architect, who I have tremendous respect for, Matai Architects, to ask me to look into the budgets and so on. I said, come on, I want to go fishing. But then I realized I got to drive my wife somewhere. Okay, I'll go to the meeting. The end of the story is it got the juices going again. And I realized even though, a typical 4-story or 6-story Holiday Inn or Hilton, they're fun, they're nice, but they're very similar. This was outside the box. 12-story, 254 rooms, 84 offices. I've never had that combination. It's a hybrid. 2 levels of underground parking, a pool and restaurant on the roof, beautiful restaurant. Restaurants within, a wine club in the, I didn't even know what the hell a wine club was. But if you're into wine, they got little cabinets that are thermostatically controlled. It's a spa that I hope my wife doesn't go there too often. So
you can go to the spa, Gary.
Maybe I'll get a discount.
It's 2023. Everybody goes to the spa.
Well, there you go. I should get my nails done.
You should.
It's an exciting project because it's unusual. It's a 36-month build. We literally just broke ground like a month ago.
Yeah, it's exciting.
It's the Hotel V, and now just recently it will become the Hotel V Hilton Curio Hotel.
That's right.
So, and the finishes are like unbelievable. And I remember meeting with the owner early after I started to say like, let's not get carried away here. You realize the budget's, it's going the wrong way. So it's really high end, like true 5-star. Our job is to help the client keep control of their checkbook. Sometimes you can put light fixtures in that look like they're solid gold, but they're not.
And they don't have to be necessarily.
They don't have
to be good quality.
Correct. So we're going to build a beautiful hotel, and it'll probably sort of be the one in my career that that was the special one because it was different. But let's not lose sight of the fact, especially in Western Canada, the Holiday Inn Expresses, the true hotels, which are becoming very popular, the Home 2, like the Marriotts, the Hyatts, we want to do them all because there's similarities to all of them. And if you know how to do them, because we have done Marriott, we've done Hilton, we've done Holiday Inn, and even though Holiday Inn rolls out, new Formula Blue, roll out new concept, we're building a box with a bunch of little boxes inside.
You're so right.
And it's fun. Once you got we talked earlier about, was your grandfather in the construction business?
He was.
There's a certain feel, a sound, and there's a lot of action in construction. And quite honestly, when I was retired driving my wife around and then fishing, it gets a little too quiet.
You missed it.
I miss the action,
Yeah.
and I miss the people.
I was going to say, the construction industry is so much about people.
100%.
Everybody bringing their respective abilities and skills to the table.
Correct.
And working together for a common goal from all over the world.
Yep. You know what we are, and that's a very, very good point. We're in the customer service business, but primarily we're in the communication business, meaning our company, BAYCON Construction Managers. We bring people together. I believe in this visual. Think of me as a conductor of an orchestra. So there's all these different instruments and personalities and people from all over the world. Electrician, mechanical, carpenter. Our job is to get them to focus and read the music. When you play music together, it's beautiful.
It is.
But when they're not playing together and the sheet music's all different, it's horrendous.
You're right.
So
It's a great analogy.
we're communicators, we are a conductor of people, and we want them to be as passionate as we are on the project that we're building.
And it should be symphonic
I
instead of
love
noise.
it. I'm going to remember that.
Oh,
Bingo.
you gave it
There's
to
a
me.
big difference between noise, like fingers on a blackboard,
Yeah.
or some of the new music I listen to in the back. What the hell is that? Okay, and then there's the 60s and 70s music. You go, oh, that's music.
Gary, it's been such a pleasure.
I
really
enjoyed
appreciate
it.
your insight.
Thank you, Stacey.